Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weird and Whatever podcast. How the hell is everyone doing?
Good.
Great.
Mr. Beckett, let's do a little roll call. How are you, my man?
I'm good. I just want to tell everyone that they should definitely see the video that you guys did because it is hilarious for the Weird and Whatever podcast.
We did a promotional video to, get more people excited for our podcast and, get people, knowing about it. And you left before all the real action happened. I got super, super sick at that show.
You got like
shoot.
a heat stroke.
Yeah, you left. And literally 5 minutes later, I was on the ground. And I had that kind of mania when you are so dehydrated and out of shape and parched. I thought I was dying. I was literally trying to go in the lake because I thought it was going to be, cool and refreshing. It was the hottest shit. It was like lava and it was full of algae. You missed a very sad moment.
You should have filmed that.
We did.
Oh, we did.
Well, I thought I saw you filming.
Oh, yeah.
We filmed it. We're going to release it in a couple days. It's pretty awful. It's a pretty humiliating experience.
Maybe you angered the spirits and it wasn't heat stroke. And
I angered my stomach, and I had to take off my shirt. So when you left, I'm on the ground shirtless. My ass crack is hanging out. I was so ill, I didn't care who saw what. The whole time I was like, oh, I'm glad Beckett didn't see this. He's in great shape over here, struggling.
I'm glad he didn't see me like this.
I got to see that footage.
Yeah, it's out there. Vicky
yeah.
was our psychic. See, I was going to put you as a medium, but I wasn't sure if that was disrespectful. I wasn't sure the politically correct term.
Well, I am a psychic medium.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
I'm
medium
both.
or psychic would have been fine.
Yeah,
Is there
either one.
a difference between?
A medium speaks to spirits that have crossed, and a psychic is able to see the living around you and, look at possible predictions for the future.
Yes, and Denny's. If people want to find that promotional video, the one that's we're all kind of acting like we're paranormal investigators, where are the easy?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's also YouTube. It's
YouTube.
very easy to find it.
Yes.
And if you go on to Bird's channel for the Weird and Whatever podcast as well at J Bird Pennington, right?
Yeah, I think so.
got
Is
a
that
link up
Facebook
there.
channel?
Yep.
Yeah, the Facebook, just for you guys listening out there, the one that's got the Weird and Whatever thing in the background, that is the official Weird and Whatever page now. Let's get right into it. I'm very excited that Vicky has brought us some EVPs. Now, have you ever heard EVPs, Ryan?
No, the only thing that I heard is that thing you played with your dog or something. Or
Oh, that was the picture of his dog with the ghost in the ear.
yeah, and like you said, like you played something. I thought, and you thought like you heard something.
Oh, we played them to ground people.
Oh, ground people.
That's right. People thought I was crazy. When I was living down in Miami, there was this sound coming from the ground. Have you ever heard of ground people, Vicky?
No.
No, it's a real thing. I looked into it. We had talked about it. It's like shadow people. Really.
Is it like an elemental? Because they're like nature spirits.
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's get an elemental. What is this?
Well, an elemental, and they all fall under the guise of fairies, gnomes, elementals. Each culture calls them something different, but they're basically nature spirits.
What are your thoughts on elementals?
I believe in them.
Gnomes?
I think that they're all part of that group. I don't know what I would call. I think usually when I encounter them, I call them elementals or nature spirits. I don't really call them gnomes or fairies or anything like
Okay,
that.
so if you see one of these things going down, can you tell it's a gnome?
Sometimes I can tell. I was introduced to them one time through my shaman, and so now I know how to more easily recognize them. Actually, I was in a house the other day, and they had an elemental, so I was able to pick up on it pretty quickly.
What freaks you out more, Beckett? A elemental like a gnome ghost kind of lurking around, or a evil spirit like from the 1800s? It's human. It was human. What's scarier?
If I believed in either one, I would have to say, obviously the evil spirit.
So you when Vicky says something like gnomes, I think you're kind of mentally checked out.
I think of Travelocity.
Yeah, he's thinking of what we've turned it, the commercialized things that people have in their garden.
Kind of like what people do with aliens. Everyone thinks it's a little green man or woman
Or
walking
like a
around.
tall gray.
Yeah, that's not what when I'm talking to aliens. That's a hair of what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't know what the hell's out there.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like EVPs. I think are something that I can more get on board with than a lot of the other stuff because it's actually there's not subjective things. Like it's objective. Like you're actually measuring something. you could debate what that something is that you're measuring, but you're measuring something. And I think that, like we've talked about, there's certain colors you can't see, there's certain sounds you can't hear. So the EVP thing is really interesting to me.
Vicky, how long have we known each other? I was trying to do the math. I think it's almost 10 years.
Yeah, it's been
Oh,
a
wow.
while. Yeah.
She's so Vicky has done three of my places. Four? Mm-hmm. And they've all had ghosts. I need to do my place again. Okay. Now, my question is, talking about this Weird and Whatever podcast, I'm really in it right now with the paranormal. I mean, I'm constantly reading up on stuff. Am I bringing on spirits? Is it possible that I'm ringing that dinner bell right now?
Well, you could be, depending on what you're doing in your house. I mean, if you're just sitting there reading an article and researching, that's different. If you're interacting with something in your house, that's a completely different animal.
Lighting candles and asking if someone's there, is that... would that constitute
yeah, that's interaction.
Beckett, we are getting this place very, very ghost ready for you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I was thinking, because I really am having some weird stuff go at my place again, can we bring the team at my place? I like my place because we're able to get in. We're having a tough time getting into some of these places we want to investigate.
Right. No, absolutely.
Okay, and please tell the people, because people don't believe, we have real equipment, real ghost equipment.
Oh, yes. Yes. We'll come in. We use, I tend to use Sony products. So I do have several, I think I'm up to 9 Sony recorders. And we use video cameras. We also have a DVR system that's set up to, we can put up to 8 cameras at one time.
I wasn't even thinking, we should have used that stuff in the promotion video.
For sure.
We were kind of doing more of the elemental stuff with the outside. We can always do another one.
And we have the fun stuff, like we have the REM pod that will go off and if somebody gets near it, and we have spirit boxes, and we have, apps on our phone that we've actually found are pretty valid.
Yeah, the one thing, the most credible stuff you found at one of my places was you had a EVP, and I forget, it was something almost like a message they were giving me. I don't know if you remember. It was almost like beware, or it was one of those ones, it was very ominous. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that one. I mean, you got to realize in 10 years, because I've had my own team for 10 years, so I've captured a lot of EVPs.
Very
I
true.
do remember the little girl who confirmed. I remember I was in your bedroom. That was the one where you had the Bigfoot painted on the wall. That was that apartment.
The good old days.
And
That's not every apartment.
chicks loved it, Beckett. Good way of peacocking.
Oh, get some hot.
Oh yeah, girls love paintings of Bigfoot.
And then I used my daughter's age as an indicator. I forget how old she was at the time. I said, well, I have a daughter and she's such and such years old. Are you older than her? Nothing answered. And I said, are you younger than her? And we get a yes.
Maybe that, yeah, okay. That sounds familiar too.
Yeah.
And then you had me put the toys in the side of my bed. And I know I brought that up in the podcast before. That is pretty freaky when you hear someone playing with toys and there's no one there in the middle of the night. That is a true story. I am not making that shit up.
That is crazy. I have a question. So is Sony making these instruments for the purpose of...
These are regular recorders. I buy them off of Amazon. I bought them at Walmart. It's a regular recorder. You just press record and you have a session. And then if something's there, it will leave its voice on the recorder.
So Best Buy doesn't have a ghost section?
No. There are ghost companies that you can buy things, and like a spirit box is basically a regular radio that someone has altered. They basically have taken it so it continuously stands through the stations, so it doesn't stop on one. But you can still hear snippets of those stations as it goes through. That's why I use AM. That way I'm not getting a lot of music come through. But when you get an EVP from that, it's above and beyond that noise. You can tell it did not come from a radio station. It's a very clear voice that's above and beyond that noise.
So someone sent me an email saying, look, I am ghost hopeful. I want to see a ghost. What are the steps I can take to try to invoke spirit? Do you feel weird about saying that? Is that against the code? Because, I mean, if someone really wants to go out and try to find a spirit, which some people do, I'm me being one of them,
right.
Is there a fun little way they could do that without getting themselves murdered by a ghost?
I would say the best way, and it's the way that I used, I simply, I didn't start my own team. I joined another team at first. And I went on investigations, and the more I investigated, the more open I became and the more experiences I had. And that way I did it in a safe way. I did it under the guidance of someone who was experienced and knew what they were doing, so that I didn't get any kind of attachments or any kind of negative things following me home.
If someone tonight, it's Friday night, woo, it's Friday night, baby, I want to get a ghost. Is there a step-by-step what they could do to try to get a spirit tonight? They want to book a ghost tonight.
If they really want, the easiest way sometimes to get proof that there's a spirit around is to just take a recorder. Go to a location that you think might be, please don't use your own home. That's That's one of the things I have to warn. Please do not investigate your own home.
Oops.
No problem there.
You don't investigate. Hey, are you guys here? I'm constantly investigating.
It's like a fortune cookie. Someone has to give it to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And but they could go to certain locations and they could just take their recorder and they could ask questions. And then before they leave that location, they need to ask that whatever's there stays there, does not follow them.
Okay.
Jeez, sounds risky.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I used to, when I went to the Lake Worth Playhouse, we did that seance there, and I remember everyone left, and I had to stay there by myself, and I was just by the stage area, I was by the chairs, and I kept on saying, "Okay, ghost, are you here? Bring it, give it to me, give it to me." Some would say that might have been possibly why they attached to me, but are ghosts really like that, or do they really want to attach to the loudmouth?
Most ghosts are not going to leave their location. They may follow you temporarily, kind of check your place out, but you got to realize if they're in a location, they're there for a reason. So they're not likely to leave it for long.
Do ghosts go to the bathroom? That's a fair question. Someone asked that.
Not that I know of, but honestly, they have been known to flush toilets. They turn on, faucets. They've turned on showers.
It's like a cat.
I mean, that's horrifying. Y'all, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and your shower's on. It just goes on and there's nobody there.
Do you think they're doing that because that's part of their daily routine, and that's being?
It could be, and it could be just the way that they thought of that time that they could use their energy to get your attention.
Oh,
because
true.
because
they make noise.
You've talked about it before, where ghosts may not know that they're dead. But how, if you're a ghost, how would you not know if you're dead? Because of things like going to the bathroom, eating.
Eventually they do make the realization. I think it's just one who has recently passed. But after a while, when they realize people are in their house ignoring them, they finally get the clue.
So when a ghost becomes a ghost to you, do you think they die and immediately they're now just like a ghost over their body? Or do you think there's a period where they vanish and then reappear attached to a place?
Like in Ghost, kind of almost how he had to learn the prerequisites of being a ghost.
Yeah.
And then he was really able to do it.
And
I
they
see what you're saying.
They use that same concept in Beetlejuice as well, kind of there's a handbook and a learning phase.
Yeah. Right.
But so you wonder if somebody is haunting an area and he doesn't necessarily die in that area that he's haunting or lives in,
Right.
does he pass and then wake up right there, or do you think there's a period where he's kind of non-existent or maybe just absorbed into?
There seems to be periods where they almost do, for lack of a better term, almost like they hibernate. Like they have to, you'll have a house that's really active 2-3 weeks at a time, and then all of a sudden activity stops for a month. Because they've used up their energy, they go dormant. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't know where they go during that dormant period. But then something will happen. They'll build up their energy, and they reappear again. And it's the same spirit.
Let's go ahead and shift to aliens, something I love to talk about. Now, I just want to get everything straight. Beckett, you believe in aliens? You're more open to the alien than the ghost.
Yes.
And Danny, you are more with the aliens and the ghost.
Yeah,
Open.
I mean, there has to be life out there.
Okay.
Whether they come here and visit is my...
Yeah.
So our intern Thumbelina, she is running the cameras today for producer Angelica, who could not be with us today. She sent me an awesome article. I talked a little bit about it on the KVJ show.
It was very cool.
It is. Why don't you take a little bit of it, Dennis? It's historic paintings from the 1300s, the 1200s. I mean, we're talking old ass paintings, and every one of these paintings that was on the site depicted UFOs, detailed UFOs with lights coming out, windows on there. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. They were painting UFOs. Go ahead, Denny. Speak a little bit.
Yeah, I'm actually pulling up the photos for you guys because a picture's worth 1,000 words here. But if you gaze through any of these, if I get a text message, just go ahead and reply to them. But yeah, just go through there. There's actually a couple. So a lot of them you could chalk up almost to a light entity because it is a circle. I mean, UFOs are
They
circular.
are, but there was the details on a lot of those.
There's a couple that definitely resemble a UFO.
couple.
There's a couple in there.
There's
A
about
couple of them I
5.
could chalk up because if you look at religious paintings as well, they'll do the light around the head.
Denny's,
So I mean, it's very similar to a crown of light.
show it to your other skeptic over here.
But it's making its rounds. It's making its rounds.
Yeah.
What do you think, Vicky? Because
They look like UFOs to me.
my point is, how come there's no paintings of them drawing cars? You know, stuff that it's the. I don't know if you can paint stuff you've never seen before.
Well, for sure. I mean, I could draw something random that I'll never see.
But you are drawing it because somewhere in your memory it is
So I'm on the theory, like Greek mythology, a lot of the stuff they had was like a chimera, is like a mix between a lion and like I think it's like a lion with wings and a goose head or something. It's crazy. So I mean,
But all that,
those
though-
are three items that already exist in the world combined.
Exactly. A UFO, you're drawing spaceships.
Well, you're drawing something in the sky. So, I mean, as a man, you might not be able to visualize, a motorized car or a motorcycle or something. But if you look in the sky that everybody looks up to, I mean, of course you're going to see things. Meteorites, you're going to see anything. I mean, even if an eclipse could possibly look like a UFO to somebody, if you didn't know what an eclipse was.
Vicky, do me a favor. School our boy Denny.
But some of those are
counter
very
that.
distinctive, and if they're from different time periods, most likely the people from the other time periods did not see that picture.
Well, for
So
sure.
you have the common denominator of this happening in different time periods where they couldn't have looked at it.
But
So
they're all very
that's
similar. They're all
interesting.
circular. So I mean, like an eclipse that I brought up, that could. I mean, so if you see that, you're like, "What is this?" You think this is the end of time?
Could you imagine living in that time period where you didn't know shit about anything? I mean, just simple things like the moon
I
would
saw
freak
Beckett
you
roll.
out.
I saw Beckett roll his eyes over
Oh,
there.
he's not buying it at all.
Well, like the light stuff, I just, that's the sun coming through the clouds. Like I feel like that's, but there's a couple pictures in there that are weird.
They are weird.
They got the discs and the.
We're losing the room, Vicky. We're losing them.
Oh well.
But
Yeah,
I think people back then didn't have movies, right? Like people.
No, 1300s? Hell no.
I get your point, but people were creative back then, and I think
They're still creative people, man.
still
drawing
creative.
stuff.
Yeah, drawing stuff. Like I get the point, and it makes sense to me. What your point is that they have no context to have that in their imagination.
Yeah, and I know that I'm kind of retreading on some of the stuff we had talked about last week. I just that article. I mean, these ancient paintings, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I hear you, man. The guy that drew this, though, like we're just looking at a picture that looks old, so we're like, "Oh, it's old, it's credible." But who knew that guy could have been doing LSD back then? He could have eaten some poison mushrooms.
Opium or whatever.
He
they
could be
do.
doing anything. So I mean, yeah, he's drawing UFO. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not discrediting it. So check if aliens visited. There's a pretty good chance that they visited, and maybe their time is different from ours
Okay.
because. The way we look at time, obviously, we made up a system so we could stay on schedule. That is really irrelevant to everything. That's just a schedule that we made on Earth to keep track of time. So time to them might be severely different. So if they came here in Egypt times, provided the technologies or at least put people on the right path to build great monuments like that, there's a chance that they're gone and they come back and that's to them is like a year. Like maybe they come here annually. But to us, that could be like 300,000 years. We don't know. So, just our relationship with time is going to be different from other people who came up with time.
Yes or no question. Has aliens ever been on planet Earth? Vicky,
I think so.
Beckett.
If I had to bet on it, I would
You
say
had to bet. You had to bet your life on it.
I would say no.
Like he's got a bazooka aimed at you.
You always add those extra things after I answer. Now I'm betting my life on it.
That's my thing. That's what I do. Denny's
Visiting. So,
visit had some kind of interaction with humans.
it's hard to say, man. So I'm just
Damn, man, we are getting skeptic
so-
out of here.
Don't forget about the bazooka.
yeah, there's a bazooka. So I could imagine, yeah. All right. So if somebody asked me, and I was really being honest with them, I could say I agree that aliens have probably made one round around Earth. I don't know if they've ever coming back. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could be military craft that we're misconstruing with some concept that we've.
It's a very good point because I don't know if you guys have seen some of the shit the military's got nowadays. They look
insane.
like UFOs.
Cool.
They look like UFOs and they go really fast. So I see what you're saying. I have to give credit to that because there is flying shit that's not alien stuff. I am going more with stuff that people in NASA has seen, people that flown to the moon, even though, according to Denny's, no one has ever gone to the moon.
You're right.
Maybe if you
Through
shape shifted, you could go to the moon.
He's wearing a NASA shirt.
I know, poser. What a poser! You're wearing a NASA shirt.
It's ironic that I'm wearing this shirt.
You're
I
being-
just realized that.
He's being ironic. I get it. All right.
Okay.
But I forgot what I was gonna say. You were attacking me about NASA. I actually have a funny
Bring
NASA story.
it.
If we're going homework route these days.
Well, here,
I don't want to derail
no,
everything.
you can't derail this thing. I just did. Tell your NASA story. I just had an email from somebody calling you out about your theories and shit.
Let's hear this.
Do you want someone to shit on you first? Or do you
Yeah,
wanna,
shit on me first. Let's get this over.
or do you want to give us your
Let's get really pumped up for this.
or you want to give us your NASA theory?
No, let's hear this
Come on,
guy.
give us some
No, I want to
NASA.
hear this guy.
You're being a real asshole. The email goes, Denny's, you sound stupid, bro. You don't believe in the afterlife, but you believe in shape-shifting? Bro, stop smoking so much weed, it's rotting your brain. Harold. Harold does not...
Harold.
I did get a bunch of comments from people saying, WTF.
With the shades in it?
So Denny's doesn't believe in this. He believes that the moon was not real, or the moon landing was not real, and shape-shifting is real?
I know that could be odd, but
and fairies?
I'm very big on like the out of body, man. Like, so I feel like you could transfer. I mean, we're all vibrating frequencies. How could I not align a frequency? So when all right, so I'm not gonna get too much into this.
Get
here,
into it.
But when you listen to the radio, you're listening to a radio frequency. When you use Wi-Fi, that is literally just a radio frequency that we found that we can transfer information through. So if humans are vibrating frequencies, why would we not be able to transfer information to each other? So if
Ooh, that's
Beckett
It's an interesting theory.
if Beckett is nervous and you're comfortable, I can almost sense that from you guys just by how my body is reacting to your presence. So I imagine that's some sort of vibration that I'm picking up on you guys. So why would you not be able to transfer a vibration of some sort of thoughts to another creature or animal?
Is that a vibration if you're just perceptive of people's moods? Would that be
But
considered
I'm picking
a
up on their vibrations, their body vibrations, everything, the earth, everything creates a vibration. We all are literally a frequency. So if everybody could resonate at the same frequency, we were talking about group healings, I imagine that's a group, all like mind, vibrating at a similar frequency to create some sort of change. So, I mean, why wouldn't you be able to vibrate a frequency if you could figure it out? Like, we didn't even know about Wi-Fi 10 or 15 years ago. Now we use it all the time. They're actually trying to find new bands that we could go to. And there's other broadcast bands that we use. I mean, I think Wi-Fi is, what is it? It's like 108.22BN. Yeah, I know. But you guys are at 97.9 FM.
No,
That's just a frequency, man. But we're sending talking through that? That doesn't blow your mind?
Oh, no, I got you. So ghosts, there's no way they could be real, but yeah, I could shift shape into a rabbit.
We were talking EVPs earlier. That's why I'm real into EVPs, because like Beckett said earlier, like there's tons of things that we can't see and hear that are still exist around us. Like we only have a limited color spectrum that we can see. We only have a limited hearing range. There's dogs that can hear things that we can't hear, other creatures.
For sure.
But those are vibrating at a frequency that we just don't pick up. We just are not
yeah,
geared
and
for
I
it.
think it actually is a very, very good theory. I mean, on the non-believing side, I think it's a great theory as far as you explaining
It's
the
merely a
science
theory
behind
of
it. Yeah,
mine.
no, I mean the vibrations and all that. I can level on that. Beckett.
I'm on board with all of what he said, actually.
Okay, there's definitely factions being made on the podcast. It's me and Vicky versus Denny's and Beckett.
And I'm not trying to discredit
No,
anyone's theories.
I am just
It's
messing
merely
around.
just I feel like that totally makes sense that you can a frequency you could meet somebody who has a discordant frequency to yours.
So if Beckett said he shapeshifted into a kangaroo and he was sincere, you're buying it. You're like, all right, I can kind of get around.
So
that.
as far as like changing your body appearance like a werewolf, I'm not so much
I didn't say
into,
werewolf.
but
I said kangaroo.
transference of your thoughts to another creature, I could totally get on board with.
Yeah, I think
And that's what I believed with the shape-shifting. It's either we are able to use our mind to project for other people to see what's in our mind, which is similar to what you're saying. You're saying the animal picking up on it and doing what we're thinking, but also us projecting an image for someone to perceive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is acting a version of shape-shifting?
Yeah, I mean technically.
Because you're getting into someone else's, like you have like your muse, right?
Yeah.
And you're like trying to pick up your inspiration.
You're trying to learn their manners.
And they don't change some of those actors, depending on the style, they don't change their character even when they're not filming, right? They're just like in
Oh,
Yeah, if
if,
they're
you're
method-
one of those actors where you never break character.
like a Daniel Day-Lewis.
Those,
Yeah.
by the way, those actors seems like they'd be the biggest douches
Method
to work with.
actors.
Oh, it's like, come on, dude, we're just having a sandwich. You can't be yourself.
Dustin Hoffman, during the filming of Marathon Man, went to a dentist. In that movie, there's a Nazi dentist who used to torture people. He pulls out one of Dustin Hoffman's teeth, and he went to the dentist to feel that pain so that he could carry that acting into the performance.
Yeah, there was one of those horror movies where the guy, I think it was Friday the 13th, one of the Friday the 13th, the guy's name was Kane Hodder. And they said the entire set of filming Friday the 13th, he did not shut it down. He acted like he was Jason the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, come on. What are you doing?
I get it. There's a guy named Max Schreck, the guy who played the original Nosferatu from that old-ass creepy film, if you've ever seen it. They said he did not break character, and they actually thought he was a vampire on set.
Oh, I have heard of that.
They made a movie about it called The Shadow of the Vampire. I think it had William Dafoe.
I did. I
Interesting.
remember that. You guys seen that?
No.
Don't. It's not that good.
Yeah, it's kinda, I'll save you. Just go to Wikipedia. You can read it in a paragraph.
But they also say that the person's character sometimes seeps into their real
Oh, yeah. Well,
personality.
there was talk about Heath Ledger, him doing the Joker and him getting to that crazy place.
I think you're right. I think I remember hearing a story where Jack Nicholson called him and warned him like,
that it could take
put you in a dark place.
Well, think about it. If you really are passionate about what you do, and I'm assuming actors, they get to that level, you've put your entire life.
Yeah.
I mean, you sacrificed everything.
Exactly.
You want to be awesome. There's millions and millions of dollars, on the line here. You are. I could totally see someone doing that, and
All
I
in.
get the reason why they would do that.
Well, think about
I
if somebody is a suicide hotline person, you're gonna take all that home with you. All
You
that
have to.
there's no way you're not gonna be able to shake that every day.
yeah.
I completely agree. I got an email for you, Vicky, that you could maybe. No, I agree with you. I do.
Oh no.
I wasn't trying to be dismissive.
I'm just giggly.
Whoa, what did you
He's got
do?
the giggles.
Yeah. What did you do before the
I get them
podcast?
easily.
Are you smoking weed at work?
I literally get the giggles easily. All right.
Okay, dear Weird and Whatever. My friend thinks my daughter is an indigo child. Have you guys ever heard of this? Which we have. We've talked about that on the KVJ show. My kid says she sees spirits all the time. It's actually very freaky. She's 8 years old and talks to dead people constantly. My friend really thinks she's an indigo child. Can you guys discuss this? Do you know what it is? Thanks, Lori.
Yeah, well, usually children before the age of 7, almost all children see spirits. We just blow it off because they say it's
So
an
Denny-
imaginary friend.
Denny's has seen spirits.
Yes, he has. Probably you communicated with something when you under the age of 7, and
For
you thought
sure.
it was real, and it was really a spirit.
I had Dawn and I had Bebo Y. Those are my two people I would talk to.
Those are the times of imaginary friends.
And I would talk to them when I was going poop as a kid. That's when they lived in my bathroom wall.
You're like, this isn't weird.
But I remember Don was a 40-year-old man. He had slicked back hair. And I remember telling my parents that, and I'm like, that's kind of creepy. Why is there a 40-year-old guy watching you poop?
Was this a public restroom or?
No, this is at my bathroom, in my bathroom in Lake Park. And I think maybe I would be scared to go to the bathroom at nighttime. And was that me talking to spirit, or is that something I made up in my head because I was scared?
I would say that you were probably talking to spirit, depending on your age. Now,
'Cause I
once
can
you
see
get
Dawn in my
Yeah.
in my head.
I had an imaginary friend, and his name was Tabby Toey. And he went everywhere with us until a certain age, and then I didn't see him anymore. And now I firmly believe that he must have been a spirit. So if this child's 8 years old, she's, kind of past the age where she should not still be seeing them. The first question I would have her parent ask her if she sees colors around people. Because a lot of time indigo children will see people's auras.
Ah.
So don't ask her why. Just say, when you look at somebody, do you see colors around them?
So that's how it is for someone like that. They when they're walking in the mall, a dude walks by and there's just a color around them.
Well, they can. Some indigo children can see auras, and from time to time I can see auras. It depends on if that's really what I need to do.
You're an indigo girl.
Well,
Well, I mean, you had to
I just have different gifts. but-
okay.
and you're aware of if you look at somebody against a white wall, you can see a faint silhouette around them. Is that how you see auras?
I just see them as colors around people.
What you are talking about is smoking too much weed, Denny.
If you stand in front of a white wall, though, you can. If you look, so what you got to do is you got to look with your peripheral, not with your actual eyesight. So focus on something like a jewel on their necklace, and then if you let your peripheral work, you can almost see color around people. I find.
Does what they're wearing affect what color?
I mean, that's totally possible. I have not tested this on any sort of scientific, but
You're
I've
just
noticed.
going on gut
I've noticed
theory.
that, and that could be years of hallucinogens. That could be anything. So
No, it doesn't for me. Whatever they're wearing, it doesn't matter. And it's not something that I do all the time. It's just rarely. And I never studied what the different colors meant, and I didn't study for a reason. I didn't want to have a preset color definition in my head.
Someone because we had talked last podcast about you doing a reading with me, and I thought it was a very valid point their comment was, well, doesn't Vicky know you? Hasn't she known you for so long, and you're a very public figure? It would be so easy for Vicky to say, oh, your mom is here, or you're doing this, or this about your love life. How do you, as a medium, when people come at you with that kind of scrutiny, how do you combat that?
Well, fortunately for me, most of the time when spirits come across, they come across with something that there's no way I could have known. They're nice enough to give me some little trait or detail. There's no way that you've ever mentioned it that I would ever know that.
Okay, so for example, you give me a reading and my mom gives you a message where you give me the message and I'm like, holy shit, there's no way anyone would know that but me and my mom.
Right. Or I give you a characteristic. Or I give you a
yeah.
characteristic of the person. Like, I never met your mother, so I wouldn't know her mannerisms. I wouldn't know her personality or anything like that. Last night, I did a reading. And when the spirit came through, the girl, I didn't know it. It was on the phone. She was holding a picture of the person that she wanted to come through. And she says, well, I was just wondering, I have a lot of people that pass. I said, well, the first one that wants to come through, it's male. It's an older male. And she just starts crying. She's like, yeah, I'm holding his picture now. And he gave me enough details about his personality that when I came through with that message, she knew that I was legitimately talking to him. Plus, I don't have the ability to lie. I'm not that imaginative.
So, Beckett, you had talked about a mentor that had passed away back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
What are you allowed to bring his name up?
The picture I brought was my grandfather.
It was your grandfather. Okay,
Yeah.
It was your grandfather. Let's say you do a reading and it doesn't even have to be Vicky. It's with the medium, a psychic. They come at you with something only you and your grandfather would know. Does the skeptic in you say somehow they found that out, or do you become a full-on believer?
I don't think I become a full-on believer, but remember, I'm a skeptic that's open-minded, and I think that would be very interesting to me. I don't know if I become a full-on believer. I guess it depends how specific and like how
Like something that, like,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
turn
talking.
for
It
you.
would be something specific where it stops you in your tracks. See, what you just said is very eye-opening. I think after time goes on, people start to discredit themselves and what they've seen and what they felt, what they believed, what happened. I know
sure.
I know I've done that before. For example, me talking about that woman in the shower when I saw the face and all that. After time goes on and I tell that story and just getting people's reactions, yeah, it sounds ridiculous and I question myself. But I know if I really go back in that time, I know what I saw, I know what I felt, I know what was there. But to your point, I think when people do have a feeling, the more time that goes on, if they don't keep investigating it and I don't
it'll
know,
diminish.
hone, I guess, that skill or at least follow up on that feeling, I think it goes away. I think that's just the human DNA.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, kind of unrelated, but like I've had a situation where I saw something that was bad with a girl I was dating, and she was so good at lying about it that I doubted what I saw.
Oh, that's the worst kind of relationship.
Yeah, battered wife syndrome.
But
Yeah.
but the point is that I wanted to believe her. So
Yes.
that made me more open-minded or able to be manipulated and
For
lied
sure.
to. So I guess what I would say is that depending what you already believe in, if you're more of a skeptic or more of a believer, I think it affects that tailing off of what you saw, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and it's so weird. You're talking about love, and why is it, Vicky, that love does stupid ass shit to people? Where
You're adding emotion to
well,
it, man.
You're right. I mean, you'll be one way, and you have your ideals and how you are, and you're like, I'm never gonna do that, and blah blah blah, and this, and then all of a sudden, a girl comes into your life, it just fucks everything
Out the
up.
window.
Oh my! You're acting like you become something you swore you would never. Why? It's because of the emotion. I mean,
Yeah, and we
people-
all want to believe that one particular person finds us special and above everyone else, and we want to believe it, and we weren't made to really be alone. We were made to have relationships, and you want to believe it so badly, you're willing to think, oh no, I just saw that with my eyes, but nah, that didn't happen.
Even the loner, you think wants somebody, maybe not all the time, but
well, it depends on if they have, there are some people that actually have mental disorders.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about I know people in my family that are loners. They really they could go weeks without interacting with people.
Right.
But at the end of the night, are they longing for some kind of companionship? Is that lonesomeness or that loner mentality? Is that just them building walls and
I
protecting
mean, that could be a
themselves?
byproduct of past relationships.
For
Yes.
sure.
Yes. I know I have those walls.
I think I got a lot of walls.
But I think you're right. It's humans by nature, I think, are a pack mentality where we always, no matter what, through history, you'll always see civilizations pop up because by
Totally.
nature we have to be in groups. Oh, there's power by numbers. I mean,
yeah.
we almost can be killed by anything. Like anything can kill us.
It's weird you bring up power in numbers. Have you ever had a situation where you didn't like somebody and all of a sudden they and you have a common enemy?
Yeah.
And then you guys bond.
Oh, yeah.
It's that pack mentality because you are now aligning up with someone who believes what you are believing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
For sure.
You really stick to the people who believe like you. It
You find
seems
like colonies, absolutely.
I mean, I get that people love that. I love people who have different opinions, and we talk about the afterlife. You know, you got a different theory, I got a different theory, and I love hearing that. But at the end of the day, do humans just want to be around people that get them? Do you want to settle
Yeah.
down with someone that's you're constantly always have to teach them, or they got to teach you about, just their way of enlightenment?
Yeah, I think it's different from person to person. So I think some people, like you said, your grandfather was a mentor to you. He probably enjoyed teaching you, you
Yeah.
know, and you enjoyed absorbing the information. And now I imagine that you'll carry that trait on into the future where you'll probably want to mentor somebody similar to what happened to you.
Definitely.
So I think it's just a circumstance depending on how. I think it's all about the developmental years. First 7 years of a person's life, I think almost more or less dictates their behavior.
I think
forever.
it's tribe mentality, and just like I may disagree with someone, but when it's a Dolphins game, we're both Dolphins fans.
Yeah.
We're tailgating. He may be a totally different political opinion than
For
me.
sure.
But it's like we're grilling out and we're making fun of the Jets fans.
I always grew up thinking that could happen. Like I never. My mom was Democrat. My dad was Republican. So my dad was Baptist. My mom was Catholic. I mean, it was always they were never on the same page with anything. So me growing up, people that had different views were allowed to hang out with each other and still be friends. And boy, me and Denny's don't agree on everything. I mean,
No.
we would go through walls for one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just have enough common things in common or whatever to keep us together. I think you find like-minded people that are into stuff you are. I think ultimately you just want people that don't judge you for what you're into.
That's what it really comes down to. Yeah, I think you can be around people who doesn't believe in the same stuff you believe in. It's the judging and why you're doing that. No one
Yeah.
wants that.
Nobody
Who wants that?
But somebody who legitimately wants to hear, like say if I had the most phenomenal paranormal experience, and here in this room, I'm going to call you because Ryan's going to be like, yeah. He doesn't.
Combing his hair.
It's like, no,
He's not gonna feel that joy that I just had this
excitement.
incredible experience.
She wants to share it with you
Because
you
I'm
share
gonna.
the-
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Holy shit! This is great.
I have a question with your afterlife experience. Do you find that people have soulmates?
Ooh,
It's a good question.
Yeah,
Beck.
great
The
question.
soulmate's a great question.
Yeah, it's a big one.
And I have a theory about, but I want to hear Vic.
Because I
Okay.
was thinking about it when he was saying, like, are you meant for one person? Are you meant to have multiple partners sometimes in the course of your life? Do you have possibly you could be with? There's more than one soulmate out there for you. Like,
Well, I personally think that unfortunately most of us don't actually meet that perfect match. Unfortunately, because the world's so big. If you believe in reincarnation, maybe in one of those lives you get lucky. I've done readings where people say, oh, my grandma and grandpa, they loved each other so much. Are they together on the other side? And they're actually not. Not that they didn't love each other, but they have different jobs to do on the other side. So no, they didn't meet up on the other side. That doesn't mean they loved each other any less. And I've also come across people, the person's here, their loved one has passed on, and they are still by their side. It's down here. And I've cried at feeling how much these people have loved
wow.
their partner. I mean,
That's
just
encouraging.
boohoo cried.
Yeah, soulmates to me is, I personally think you could have multiple soulmates all over. I mean, I've never been out of the country. So how do I know out of all the people in the world that I'm not going to connect on a deep emotional level where they get me and I get them? I think you are connected to people who are aligned with your soul. Me and Denny's are our soulmates on the friendship tip because, like he was just saying, we intersect on so many things, what we just are into and what we believe in and just our common interest. But I have other friends that are just like that. I have a soul connection to that I would go through a wall for. I would literally die for them. I don't know if that's left to just one person. Do I want to believe for a female standpoint, is there this beautiful woman that gets me and we're going to be so connected and like a John Lennon and a Yoko, although that wasn't as romantic and lovey as we all have learned. But do I think there's just one of them out there for me? I don't know. I don't think that.
And think about the changes you go through in your life.
Yeah.
So there may be a different soulmate for each stage of your life.
Depending on how you, for sure.
That's a great point. And sometimes you can meet a soulmate and that's all you need in your life. You're saying that couple, they met, they were a couple, that's all they wanted. They didn't want to look any further. Whatever they had for one another, it got them through it, baby. And I think when you do approach that and get that, I think you feel it, and I don't think you let it go, because it's kind of a rarity where you have people who are together and they love each other and they don't want to step out on one another and they don't want to kill each other and they don't annoy each other.
Yeah. And that's the only time I've ever experienced it is through somebody else, through a reading, because I've never had that myself. So to be able to give somebody a reading and feel that, it's incredible because it gives you hope.
It does.
Makes
it
you
does.
think it's out there for sure.
Yeah. It's like maybe it's like winning the lottery, in a sense that like not everyone gets that in life, but
I don't think there's a perfect person out there. There's no such thing, but there's perfect someone for you.
Well, so like I said before, in terms of we were talking about what's the meaning of life and if you believe in a higher power, what's the purpose? And I said people sometimes think that they want perfect, but they don't. Perfect's boring.
Very.
And people want to be challenged sometimes, and they want someone. I think that's what is sustainable in a long-term relationship, to not have perfect.
As soon as a girl or a woman is, she comes off so flawless, where she's got nothing going wrong, and she's just. That is not my kind of person that I want. That's not my soulmate.
It also makes you think that they're not being real with you.
Right.
For sure.
I'm gonna drop a movie quote because I just Googled it because I remembered it and I thought it was awesome and really kind of dovetails what we're talking about. So remember in Wedding Crashers when the girl was getting ready to give the speech and Owen Wilson's character was like, listen to what I'm telling you.
Speak from the heart.
Yeah, speak from the heart. And the quote that he gave her was, "True love is soul's recognition of its counterpoint in another." So I really believe that. So like I think when you find your soulmate, like your soul, and that's to your point, I think you could have multiple soulmates through the course of your life. It's that you have that like deep connection and you're recognizing them.
And first of all, I love when we quote Wedding Crashers for some deep meaning stuff. That's pretty awesome. And I don't want people listening to think I don't think that a soulmate exists and that love is. I do. I believe in all of that stuff. I just know, just in my personal experience, seeing other people. A lot of people are not completely happy in their relationships. I mean, it's. I would say 40% of the people I know are personally, genuinely happy in their relationship.
For sure.
And not to say they don't have problems and that there's not issues, because they're always going to have problems and issues.
Right.
But they have each other's back and they love each other.
Yeah, you need a ride or die chick, no matter what.
Or a ride or die dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want someone that you can trust. You want to be able to tell someone all your crazy shit you got going on in your head, and they're not going to judge you, and they're gonna connect with you.
That's it. Yeah, you just find somebody, and back to the theory, you find somebody that resonates with you. You guys resonate at the same frequency.
I think this would all fall under the whatever of the weird and whatever.
Yeah,
I'm talking soul shit.
I got some whatever shit.
What do you got?
Did you see what KFC did?
Oh yeah, you sent me that. Tell everybody about KFC, and don't let me forget. We need to play Vicky's EVPs.
Yeah, for sure. I get you. So KFC launched the first chicken sandwich into space.
Oh my god.
I mean,
it legitimately happened, not a joke.
No, I don't think it's a joke. Come on, KFC. You're just trying to get some publicity. I see your moves, KFC.
But what do you think about that? You think this is going to be a common trend now where other companies are going to start launching stuff into space?
So who's watching the chicken sandwich?
I think it's littering.
It's littering.
It is littering. You're right.
Yeah, it's littering, and I see through what they're doing. They're trying to get. Damn it, Denny! You fell for it. You fell for the kernel.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to go get chicken sandwich now, but I just think that's cool. You don't think we're going to start launching things? And like you were saying, how they're talking about the holograms, this could be another tactic to further confuse people. Because if you saw that, especially because it's not going to stay in orbit that long, there's no way.
I'd imagine it would burn up, would it not?
No, I think they use a slow speed. It goes out there. It's hovering at some, like right at the stratosphere or whatever. It's up there, but it's
They're
only
putting it in orbit. That's even more annoying.
All right,
It's only expected to stay up a couple.
we're all going to
couple
go
days.
around the room. We all vote whether or not this is A, a good idea from KFC, and B, a good story from Denny's. All right, here we go. I am completely being a
Let's
dick.
read some emails about Jayberry.
I'm being a KFC dick. I'm just kidding. I'm
No,
kidding.
I get it. Your allegiance is totally on there, but
You're right. I am with butt chicken and seafood.
but I'm just saying. I thought that was cool, and now I'm wondering if we're gonna start seeing things launched into space, like ridiculous items like this.
Well, you are, because it's going to get traction, just like the KFC thing. It's a story. People are looking for stories all the time. It's going to be a quick, KFC's launching chicken in space. All right, Ryan. Stupid or awesome?
what did
KFC?
what's your homework, Ryan? Let's see what.
No. I want to get.
KFC, I think that it's genius from a marketing
It
standpoint.
is. It's
It
genius.
is.
It's
It
genius.
is.
It's genius. But if a bunch of companies start doing it, it's kind of like constant contact. Like the mails, it's eventually going to go to people's spam in terms
Yeah.
of their mental. Like they're like, it's not original anymore.
What's something cool you would launch into space? What would you launch into space?
A hooker.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh my god!
I don't know. Wow. I kind of think. I was just kidding. No, I don't want the hooker community to email me.
Because they're
I
gonna.
think you guys are hardworking women and men.
He prefer you call.
Yeah, working girl. That's the PC term for hooker. I don't even know what I'm talking about, Denny's.
No, you're right. We can move on.
I don't want to move on. I think what Ryan said, it's going to be a good marketing thing, but that's going to be about it.
You don't think it's cool that they somehow got the rights to launch something into outer space?
I don't know if I believe it completely. It sounds like marketing horseshit, and if you look into it, did we really launch a chicken sandwich out in space?
Yeah, I don't know. They had to. Who collaborated with them? NASA, Elon Musk.
I-
They made a home kit.
Do
Rocket.
your guys' own research. I'm checked out of this one.
I am completely busting your balls.
I get it.
Vicky, let's play your EVPs. I'm very excited for these. So for those who don't know, could you please explain what an EVP is?
An EVP is electronic voice phenomena. We use simple recorders. We go into a room, we ask questions, and we also use devices that provide sometimes white noise. The first one I'm going to play you was actually one that was captured through the white noise.
Okay, so we've got two skeptics here. I mean, they're staring you down. We got Beckett and Denny's. I want your guys' honest opinion on what you think of these.
Now, this particular white noise was not shifting through the stations. This is just the sound, the constant sound.
Okay.
Okay. See if we can get this.
Wait, can just if you're listening right now, nothing is broke. The podcast is still going on. Denny's,
my
you might.
volumes isn't.
Just
might
make
have-
sure it's
Let's
all
try.
the way. There it goes.
Let's try this. Kill me. Did you hear the kill me?
Ah, I did hear something.
I
there.
did hear something. All right, hold on. Are they? First of all, are they peeing? It sounds like what are they in a fountain?
No, that's the background noise. That's the white noise. All right. Hear the kill me?
Definitely creepy.
It sounds like someone saying something. I mean, power of suggestion. If you say "kill me," and with if you say "kill me" and then you play the clip, people are gonna, oh yeah, I can hear "kill me." Why don't you do this on the next EVP?
Okay.
Just play it and let's see if we can figure out what
Okay.
they say.
I'm going to play this. It says one word, and then you'll hear. I may have one of us talking before and one of us talking after.
With the "kill me" one, what was the little backstory on that? You were
The backstory was nothing. We were actually just setting up, and we had just turned on the white noise, and the recorder was near the place that the white noise was coming from. And we were actually setting up because we have one of those cams that does the stick figures. So we were playing around with that and trying to get that going, and it was just sitting there, and that's what we captured.
okay. So you get a message from a ghost that says "kill me." What are they trying to tell
Isn't
you?
that ironic? They're already dead.
Yeah, are they exactly? Are they being ironic like Danny's Nassau shirt?
Maybe they're being funny.
I mean, you could be a funny ghost, right?
Right, absolutely. I've actually had ghosts call us names. They don't like Bobby Joe very much.
They
usually
don't?
No, they usually call her a name.
Bobby Joe.
Bobby
Bobby
Joe.
Joe.
Why? vibe?
She's the more forceful one of the two of us. She's the more like, get out, you gotta go.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
more like, what was your childhood like? You know,
I'm
the softie.
I'd be like that too. Like, who is coming in here bossing me around like my mom? Now, I would like the softer approach if I was the spirit.
All right, I'm gonna play this next one. All right, it was already passed.
I heard something. It's so breathy.
It's hard because normally you listen to these with headphones on, and I'm not sure about the volume on my phone. So
I hear
okay was us.
lip.
I thought I heard hippies.
It kind of did sound like that.
I heard like a hippie or something like that.
All right, it actually says evil.
Becky here. I hear some kind of water running.
All
I
right,
definitely hear water running.
all right.
It sounds like it is near a fountain.
Okay, so that one
That's
said
the same thing. That had the back. That had the noise. All right,
so
this
hold on,
one.
is the kill me and the evil all from the same.
That's from the same place in the same within a
ghost.
few minutes. Yeah, within a few minutes of each other.
So is this someone that's obvious? Are they living a tormented existence? Killing me? What are they trying to tell you?
I don't know. I mean, we got a few more pieces that we have to put together before we figure out who it is. So
Okay.
it's a research project. It's not just about getting that one EVP. You have to look at all the evidence that you got, then look at the background of the house, do your research, and see if you can connect that to a real person.
All right, so far, what do you guys think on these EVPs? I want honest opinions here.
Like I opened up with, I'm interested in EVPs. Like I'm closer with EVPs because it's a measured thing. I do think that sometimes you hear noises and it's kind of like you're like, oh, that cloud looks like a butterfly. You know what I mean? Like so
Sure.
sometimes like you can hear things and
Like Bird was saying, if you tell us the word you think it is first, we're obviously more likely to hear that word.
yeah.
I
All
get
right.
you though. I could imagine that a frequency.
I'm
it's picking
not
up.
disbelieving it.
Okay.
But I just
Okay, listen to one more.
All right.
Okay, this one you're going to hear an investigator at the beginning, and then you're going to hear the EVP, and it actually says a sentence.
I heard something
I mean,
about
that's
a camera.
definitely
Yeah.
creepy.
But okay, now that sounds like a human though.
that definitely sounds like a voice.
That is not one of us.
I heard the word camera. Is the word camera at all in that statement?
Yes, it is, because we were in a room and we said that we were going to take your picture. And then someone says, I may have the longer clip where the investigator says flash, and then you hear get the camera off me.
Have you ever had somebody trying to, like you have an investigator that you're working with and you're trying to record an EVP and they're in the corner going,
No.
like they're trying to do
No,
that?
'cause first of all,
that's
they'd be-
automatic firing, right?
Yeah, they'd be kicked off the team, number one. Number two, we would audibly hear that. I mean, Bobby Joe
couldn't-
especially
'cause
has
you're right.
supersonic hearing. She would hear an investigator trying to fool us.
But as a skeptic, couldn't you argue that what we're hearing right there with the camera, that could easily be a guy way off in the corner? That's
Absolutely.
whispering?
Anybody who wants to be a skeptic, if they're not in the room, that's why I want to go to Mr. Beckett's house, and I want him to be in the room when we do recording sessions, or at your house when we go to your house. I want him to physically be in that room.
I'm down.
So
Oh,
that
yeah.
he knows that none of us did anything.
So it's
and that's one of the
definitive.
reasons. If you go on my website, there's like a icon where it says
Plug it.
evidence.
Go ahead
and
and plug it.
Yeah. Pointparanormal.com. And there's a place where it says evidence coming soon. Well, it's never going to come soon. I'm never going to post anything because, first of all, these come from private homes. The ones I played to you happen to be a personal friend's home. That's the only reason I played it on the air. I don't put EVPs up there because what's the point? I'm not trying to prove to anybody that this happened. The only person that I need to prove it to, first of all, is myself so that I can write an accurate report for the people who live in that house and then use the EVPs to help the person. To get
yeah.
rid of the haunt or to help the spirit itself.
I gotta tell you, I get a lot of emails from people that you're helping and that you're going to their house, and you're getting a lot of great comments. And I think a lot of it, again, not to beat the dead horse, you don't charge, you admit that things could be wrong, you don't know all the time, and those are, I think, the reasons why people are really digging
Right.
it. Plus, you get great knowledge.
Yeah, and I don't use, like a lot of teams, they go in and they use it just so they can post really cool stuff. There was a team, local team, that went to this particular house years later after I'd been there, and they captured an EVP and they ran and left the house. They packed their stuff up in 2 seconds and they left the house, and they weren't even going to contact her anymore. It's to this day, the EVP they got from that house is on their website, but they did not help those people. They packed their stuff up, because of the EVP they got, and they ran and they never came back.
So almost kind of like, we got the golden ticket. Let's cash it in now. We're out.
Right. They had what they wanted for their website, and they were out.
Are we kind of involved in a ghost team rivalry? Because that sounds pretty awesome. I would love to be,
We should get it going.
Oh, I would love to be at odds with another ghost team. That's awesome. Oh,
That would be tight.
we'll do a battle rap. We'll get Beckett on the track.
Ooh, I love
Vicky
that.
rapping. That would be
yeah.
amazing.
Well, what's amazing on that same team, they got an EVP that was, a little forceful, but they also said to the client, they said, "Do you know somebody named Vicky?" And she said, "Yeah." They got an EVP of the spirit that says, "Where's Vicky? We like Vicky."
Ooh.
All right. I mean,
Because they were
It's
used.
like a Yelp review for ghosts.
all right. We're taking them down. That other ghost team does not stand a chance.
No.
I love it.
They're not ready for the ferocity that we bring.
It's so funny. No matter what you're into in life, there's always some type of rival or someone
Yeah.
that's going to be your enemy. It's so
And what's so
funny.
funny about it is that we don't charge. Most of these teams don't charge. There's no reason for there to be anything other than the fact that they give a bad name. It's like we talked about people faking Bigfoot footage and people faking ghost footage and stuff. It's all about somebody like that takes legitimacy
It does.
of
They
what
ruin
we
it.
do.
They do.
They ruin it.
They really do mess everything up. There was that one story which really set back the entire Sasquatch and Bigfoot community. It was those two police officers. Oh, they're police officers. They're not going to be lying to us. They for a week, it might have even been 2 weeks, they promoted, "We've got Bigfoot's body. We're going to show it, blah, blah, blah." It was a hoax.
Ugh.
I mean, and that was a big 2 weeks for me.
I bet.
Because I'm like, all right, we've got it.
Validated.
And what happens? They're lying. I get laughed out the studio. Oh, Bigfoot's yeah. It hurts.
Hurt everybody.
It hurts everybody. It takes us in the Sasquatch community back at least 30 years.
Oh yeah, and then they made that horror film with Sasquatch as the enemy, and you're like, I imagine him to be peaceful.
I don't like when people depict Bigfoot as an asshole because I don't think Bigfoot is the species.
I think he's peaceful. I think he wants to be left alone. But
yeah, let me ask you, how would you feel if your entire existence and the entire species of your existence, people are hunting you, they want to make you into a sideshow carnival freak? I mean, yeah, you'd be a little at people too.
And I feel that some people actually do that with spirits. I think there are places where they do. They charge people to come in to do ghost hunts and things like that.
Oh,
they're using the spirits. They're not trying to help them. They
Well-
would never let somebody come in there who would actually help them cross over so they could stop the cycle.
The reason why it's such a racket is because you at the end of the day, you could have EVPs up the
Wazoo.
galore. Yeah. You still don't have that definitive proof. You need to march in a spirit or a ghost and interview
Right.
him until you get people really believing. Because, I mean, again, your EVPs, although I believe you, they're just a theory. It's
Right.
just a thing that you've got. And I know you. I know you're not a liar, but
Right.
people listening, driving the skeptics, like, she's lying, blah, blah, blah. But you're also going to get people that, Vicky, I totally believe it. It's the way it goes.
And there's times that I don't do the interview, like we do a client interview, but I do not do the interview and I don't know what the activity is in the home. So when I come in and I do my walkthrough, I do not know what's happening. I did one this week. I walked in, I said, "This is what's happening here, this. And every single thing I said, the woman verified that's what's going on. I didn't know ahead of time what their activity was. So then when you do that and then you get the evidence and then you try to help them on top of that, then it all comes together to make the perfect storm.
Because I mean, it is such a racket. Me and Beckett could go out and say, "Oh yeah, investigate a house. We're gonna help you get rid of these ghosts." So we could totally you could fake that. You could
Yeah.
fake that and charge money and make a killing. I know so many people that would pay money to have a team come in there, like what you do, and they don't know if it's real or not.
Right.
They don't know.
Right.
Faith, Denny's.
You're right.
You're awfully quiet.
Just like
over
George
there.
Michael said. What's up?
I said, "You're awfully quiet over there."
I embarrassingly bit my tongue. I've been messing with it for like 10 minutes.
I was wondering what you were doing over there.
It's very painful.
You got real quiet. You're yanking on your tongue.
I went to jump in and it was like double Dutch. I like messed up my timing. I bit my tongue when I was about to say something.
It's amazing.
That is amazing, actually. Well, that's a good place to stop, I
I'm not
think.
trying to derail it.
All right, what's our plan as a team? Because after we did that promo, we got to get out in the field a little bit more. We got that trench coat I was wearing kind of gave you a little credibility.
Yeah, well, as long as you have air conditioning, why don't we do your place or
Love
Ryan's
it.
place?
Love it.
And,
Either one. I'm down for both.
We do
Yeah.
both. If we do both in one day.
That's big.
No, that's
Big?
Oh no, it's
a big production?
Let's spread this out a little bit.
Okay.
Let's milk
Yeah,
it.
let's spread it. I like that. Yeah. We can do. Let's do Beckett's first.
Okay.
We've done mine before. Well,
Okay.
we'll see if he's got some
Okay.
entities.
House was built in 1925. I think I printed out all. I gotta see if we're at the file. I went back to 1925 at the courthouse in the microfiche.
Okay.
And I got.
Look at that! You do it. It's like a movie.
I'm a
Oh my
nerd.
gosh.
Microfiche?
You're like rotating the thing.
I did. I printed it out.
I
That's
love
so
it.
funny.
I have every deed holder of my house since
Okay.
it was built.
Just make sure that you don't give that to me.
Yeah, wait
Okay.
till
I wanna see it.
afterwards.
They
yeah.
built my house in 1925.
No more information. No more information.
Yeah. I
The
don't wanna know
late
anything.
the person paid $8,000 for my house in 1925.
Yes, I was sensing that.
Just blow
Yeah.
my.
I'm sensing you got ripped off.
All right, go ahead, plug your stuff, Mr. Beckett. Do you have anything going on this weekend? You want to let the people know?
No, just kind of kicking it.
At Ryan Beckett, is it
Ryan S. Beckett.
Ryan S. Beckett.
Ryan S. Beckett's my Twitter. Beckett List is my Instagram.
Which is a funny Instagram. It's a funny name.
It is a funny name.
I agree. I love it. Vicky, yes, promote your stuff.
All right, you can send
you.
emails either about readings, which I'm still doing, the free 15-minute readings, or if you have trouble in your home, which we've gotten quite a few of those too, so those cases are starting to pile up. You can email at us at contact@pointparanormal.com. You can visit us on the web at pointparanormal.com. And Twitter is at pointpfl.
Because just to let you know, and Beckett, you are more than welcome to be a part of it. But if you want to be Bitch Boy Beckett, you can be Bitch Boy Beckett. We're going to the Devil Tree.
Oh, man.
We are going to that. We have to. I want to do it
Okay.
right this time.
For
I want,
sure. Okay.
I want us to go out there, try to get. Imagine if we got a legit EVP at the Devil Tree. That shit would be huge.
Well, I trust Vicky going to the Devil Tree. If I just went with you, you try and stir up. You started to stir up some stuff.
I
but-
totally would.
She doesn't want to do anything that's upset. And I think Denny's on the same page with me. He doesn't want to, poke the bear, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see some ghosts, but
I hear you, and you're cool with all the Devil Tree. You're
oh
not-
yeah, I'll go anywhere haunted. I'll go sleep in a basement.
love it. I love the spirit. Ah,
And the spirits.
yes. At Producer Denny's.
At Producer Denny's on Twitter. I know I've been slacking.
I'm
Shoot
at
me some
Jason Bigfoot. We're also on Facebook. Look at Jason at Jason Pennington. No, what's my?
At Jaybird Pennington on
Thank you.
Facebook for the
When you have
whatever.
a fan page, you forgot what your handle is.
We get it. Your other one's full. We get
it's
it.
so
So many
terrible.
friends.
All right, Denny's, if you don't mind, play us out. We love you all, and
Bigfoot is real.
Till